What's up, guys? So, the purpose of this recording is to explain the Myers-Briggs personality type indicator and basically explain what it is, but more to explain why it actually works and why it's not just this bullshit that some people think the Myers-Briggs or any personality type indicator is bullshit, but that's just straight wrong. So, I'm about to explain why. And basically, we're just going to dive right in. So the Myers-Briggs type indicator, you have 4 letters. Depends on whether you're an extrovert or introvert. That's the first one. Are you an I or an E? Next one, N or S. Do you take in information with your intuition versus your senses? The third one is thinking versus feeling, and that's, do you make decisions off your feelings or your thoughts? And then the last one is the lifestyle, which is P versus J, perceiving versus judging. So I'm not going to go too much into those. You can check out the link below to a website that explains them very well. That'll just take a lot of time. I'm just going to dive into something that will help you guys understand a better description of the Myers-Briggs, which is the cognitive functions. So basically, anybody that tries to type someone and be like, oh, I think that person's this type. Well, if they don't understand the cognitive functions, then they're just completely guessing because they don't understand what Carl Jung was trying to do when he created this. So, all right, I'm going to try to keep this video under 5 minutes. So the INTP has 4 cognitive functions. The website below will tell you how to discover them. So in this case, the 4 cognitive functions, each one has an I or an E next to it because it's either introverted or extroverted. So the INTP starts off with the process known as introverted thinking. And then the second process, known as the auxiliary, is extroverted intuition. The third process is introverted sensing. And the last one, and that's called the tertiary. The last one is the inferior process, extroverted feeling. Now, you may be thinking, well, if the INTP is all of those, then the opposite personality type would be just the opposite letters, so an ESFJ. So now what I'm about to show you is the ESFJs, and you'd indeed be right. So I got an INTP over here. Now the ESFJ is the complete opposite, right? But here's the thing. In my opinion, they actually aren't the opposite types. Now this is because of something known as the shadow function. So the shadow function appears when we're gloomy or in an odd state, I guess. I honestly don't know too much about when the shadow function comes out, but they're basically the functions that don't show. So this one here, you've got TI. So where's the TE, extroverted thinking? Well, that's in the shadow function. So here's the INTP's shadow. Extrovert. It's the same thing except for the E and the I are switched around versus the normal. Okay? So now I'm going to make an argument for why I think the INTP and the ESFJ aren't the opposite types. This is because I think the ISFP is the opposite type of the INTP. Now, if we take a look at the ISFP stack, it's over here. Introverted feeling is the lead. So there was no introverted feeling on the INTP's card, and this is why. Or this is the shadow. I just pulled out the wrong one. So this is going to help me prove my point now. So the shadow functions is the same exact, ordeal, but the E and the I's are switched around. So when you take a look at it, the shadow function is backwards version of the ISFP's normal cognitive function stack. So that means that they actually, here I'm going to pull up the other one. If you look at the INTP, TINESIFE. Now that isn't even there in the ISFP, and that's because that's the ISFP's shadow function. So basically what I'm trying to get at is the ISFP's functions are literally backwards. So if you look at it, these are their functions, right? Introverted feeling was the last of the INTPs. So that's why I think that they ISFP is really the opposite of the INTP, and the ESFJ is not. So for more information on the cognitive functions, just look below. If anybody tells you that the ESFJ is the opposite of the INTP, they are wrong and they probably don't understand the cognitive functions. Thanks.